Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the relationship between literacy rate and divorce rate, as well as GPP and divorce rate. We're going to see if there's a relationship there. If there's an increase in literacy rate, does that result in an increase in divorce rate? And if there's an increase in GPP, is there also an increase in divorce rate? So first of all, we're just going to give you a little background about what exactly we did. We compiled 40 years of data of literacy rate, divorce rate, population, GPP, and let's see what else. So those are pretty much in the time 40 years. So those are pretty much our four variables. So we picked 9 countries: India, Brazil, China, Saudi Arabia, France, USA, UK, Canada, and Lebanon. So you can see that these sizes of the bubbles are different. Some are varying in size, some are big, some are small. So what does this mean? It means that the population is actually larger in the size of the bubble that are larger. So India has a large population, so they're going to have a larger bubble. Same with China. Saudi Arabia has a small population, so they're going to have a small bubble, as well as Brazil, USA, and France. So those are just the size of the population reflected on the bubble size. So what do these colors mean? So India, the majority there is Hindu, the religion. So they're going to be green. So that's all that the colors mean, is just representing different religions. And you can tell by the color code up here. Hindu is orange. Muslim is orange. Hindu is orange. Islam is orange. Hindu is green. Christianity is aqua. And Buddhist is blue. So we're going to play this data for literacy, and we're going to see if there's a relationship between literacy and if there's a higher literacy rate. Is there a higher divorce rate? We're going to check that out right now. So let's play it right now. As you can see, there's some fluctuations up here, up and down. There's a side to side here a little bit. Okay, so wow, all that movement. What exactly does that mean? So let's go back, and we're going to pick the developing countries. So Brazil, China, India, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia. And we're going to trail them to just see exactly what's happening. So first of all, let's look. India in 1973, they had a literacy rate of 34% and a divorce rate of 0.06. Brazil, 64% literacy rate, a 0.7 divorce rate, 0.07, sorry. And China, 70% divorce rate and 0.03 divorce rate. Saudi Arabia, 70% divorce rate or literacy rate and 0.04 divorce rate. And Lebanon, a 76% literacy rate and a 14% divorce rate. So we can already tell that Lebanon is already an outlier with having such a high divorce rate. So let's go and play, and we'll check what happens. Oh, sorry. Let me go back here. Trail. And we'll trail them. So we're going to see what happens from 1973 to 2014 or 13, depending on the data that we got. All right, so 2014, India, they raised to a 74% literacy rate to a 1.3 divorce rate. So that's an increase there. So India, there's a relationship there. And in Brazil, you can see that it increases to a 91% literacy rate to a 2.6% divorce rate. So there's also a relationship there. And then in China, it increases to a 95% literacy rate to a 2.2% divorce rate. So as well, there's a relationship there. And in Saudi Arabia, you can tell that there's a relationship as well. As you can see, in 2013, a 94% literacy rate and a 2.2 divorce rate. So Lebanon is obviously the outlier with no real relationship, fluctuates up and down, and hits the max, it peaks 3 times, as you can tell. So there's no relationship there with Lebanon. So let's go to the developed countries. Sorry. Canada. Let's see if there's a relationship there. The thing that I noticed about the developed countries is since they have already a high literacy rate, there's no real room for them to grow. So let's see what their literacy rate is here, or their divorce rate is due to their high literacy rate already. All right, so what does this all mean? So let's start off with France, since it's the most visible right now. In 1973, it had a 96% literacy rate and a 0.08 divorce rate. And in 2014, it increased to a, in 2013, it increased to a 99% literacy rate and a 2.1%, sorry, divorce rate. So that's obviously, there's an increase there, slightly, but there is. And then the rest of the countries that are developed, they already have a drastically higher divorce rate than the developing countries, as you can see. They're very high up there. And in Canada, 2013, they had a 13% divorce rate and a 99% literacy rate. UK, 11% divorce rate. In US, a 6.8% divorce rate. So they already have, since they already have a higher literacy rate, they have a higher divorce rate. So these developing countries, as they continue to develop and become more literate, they will have a higher divorce rate, as shown in these developed countries, France, US, UK, and Canada. So there is a relationship with a higher literacy rate. It will result in a higher divorce rate, according to our data. So let's go to income per capita and see if there's any relationship there. We're going to start off with just developing countries. And obviously, Lebanon is an outlier because it fluctuates drastically and it's so far up there in the divorce rating. So as you can see, fluctuations. All right, as the same thing here as it was in literacy rate. Lebanon outlier. India and China increase. Brazil also increases with GDP, as well as Saudi Arabia. They increase slightly. They go back and then they start to increase again, and then they go back in GDP and they increase again. So this is the same situation as it was with the literacy rate. So let's go to Canada, the developed countries now, and see if it's the same situation. We would assume it would be, but we'll see. We're going to trail them. All right, so what does this mean? As you can tell, with the developing countries, there's no real relationship there, as it fluctuates up and down with Canada, the UK, and the US, as well as France. There's no relationship there with income and per capita and divorce rate, which is surprising. You'd think there would be. The higher income per capita there is, the higher divorces are because people are more independent. So from our data, we can conclude that Brazil, at least the developing countries, there is a relationship there. Developing countries, actually, there is a relationship there with literacy rate and divorce rate. So a higher literacy rate means a higher divorce rate, and a higher income per capita does not necessarily mean a higher divorce rate. So I hope you enjoyed our video, and thank you for staying tuned with me. Thank you. Bye.